Two people book the exact same trip. Same city, same hotel, same flight route, same everything. One of them pays full price, fights a wall of tourists for every photo, and waits 40 minutes for a table. The other one pays up to around 60% less, walks into empty museums, and gets seated instantly. The only difference between them? One in the season everyone calls right, the other one in the season everyone calls right, the other one in the season everyone calls wrong. And here's the twist that slip and travel upside down in 2026. The wrong season is quietly becoming the smartest, cheapest, most beautiful way to travel, and a whole wave of people have figured it out. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to do it, where it works best, and the honest catch. Quick note up front, prices and weather change fast, so always check the current ones before you book. Let's get into it. Let's define the trick because it's simpler than it sounds. Every destination has a peak season, the months when everybody decides to go at once. Summer in Europe, winter in the Caribbean, cherry blossom weeks in Japan. During peak, demand explodes and prices for flights, hotels, and tours get jacked way up because they can. Then there's the off-season and the shoulder season, the months right before and after the rush. Same city, same cathedrals, same beaches, same food. But suddenly the prices collapse, the crowds thin out, and the whole place exhales. The wrong season isn't the worst version of the trip. It's the exact same trip with the price tag and the crowd surgically removed. The only reason it's called wrong is that most people never bothered to question the calendar they inherited. That questioning is the entire hack. So why is this suddenly everywhere in 2026? A few things collided. First, overtourism got genuinely miserable. Peak season crowds at the famous spots turned bucket list trips into standing in line for the privilege of standing in another line. People are over it. Second, summers keep getting brutally hot, so a lot of travelers are deliberately dodging peak heat and chasing cooler months and cooler climates. You'll hear it called a coolcation. And third, everybody's broke and smart about it now. Gen Z travelers in particular are treating trip planning like a game of maximizing experience per dollar, and go when it's cheaper and emptier is the highest scoring move on the board. Put it together and you get a real shift. Off-peak is quietly becoming the new peak for people who actually know what they're doing. The herd still moves on the old calendar. The clever ones slid 1 month over. Let's talk actual dollars because this is the part you clicked for. The savings stack from 4 directions at once. Flights. Airlines use dynamic pricing, so the same seat can cost a fraction as much a couple weeks outside the rush. Hotels, off-season room rates can drop dramatically. And places that would never negotiate in July suddenly want your business. Tours and activities. Smaller groups, lower prices, and guides who actually have time for you. And the sneaky one. Your daily spending, fewer crowds, means less tourist trap pricing, easier reservations, and no paying premium just to skip a line that isn't even there. Add it up, and a trip that stretches your budget to the breaking point in peak season can genuinely land around half, sometimes closer to 60% less, off-peak. Now, that number is a realistic ceiling, not a promise, and it swings wildly by route and date. So check the current prices yourself. But the ceiling is real, and it's high. Let's make it concrete. Take Southern Europe, Italy, Greece, Portugal, Spain. The whole planet crams in during July and August, when it's blazing hot, absolutely packed, and at its most expensive. Now shift to the shoulder months, think spring or fall, instead of high summer. The weather is often gorgeous, honestly sometimes better, without the oppressive heat. The famous sites that had 2-hour lines in August? You walk right up. The coastal towns that felt like a music festival crowd? Suddenly calm, with locals back in their own cafes. And the prices on flights and hotels come way, way down. You're getting the exact postcard version of Italy or Greece, the one in everyone's dreams, minus the sweat, the mob, and a huge chunk of the bill. Same country, same magic. One calendar page different. Here's a second angle that blows people's minds. Flip the whole idea. A beach destination's off-season is often just its rainy, or slightly less perfect stretch, but less perfect can still mean warm, gorgeous, and half-empty. Tropical spots frequently have shoulder windows where you dodge both the crowds and the worst weather, and the price difference versus high season is dramatic. Same deal with ski towns in their non-snow months, or big cities in their quieter stretches. The trick is realizing that peak season is really just the window a guidebook told everyone was the only acceptable time to go, and guidebooks are conservative on purpose. The actual sweet spot is usually the edge of peak, where conditions are still great but the pricing hasn't caught up yet. That edge is where the smartest travelers live. And finding it for any destination is shockingly easy, which I'll show you in a second. And here is the thing nobody expects. Going in the wrong season doesn't just save money, it often makes the trip straight up better. When a place isn't drowning in tourists, you get the version locals actually live in. Waiters have time to chat. Shop owners remember you. You stumble into a neighborhood festival that has nothing to do with tourism because the town got its own streets back. Your photos don't have 40 strangers in them. The light in the off-season is frequently softer and more cinematic than harsh peak summer glare. And there is a specific feeling. Walking a famous plaza, that's supposed to be shoulder to shoulder, and it's just you and a few pigeons and the echo of your own footsteps. You can't buy that in peak season at any price. Off-season, it's practically the default. That's the part that turns budget travelers into off-season evangelists for life. Okay, catch time, because I'm not going to pretend this is free magic. The number one trade-off is weather, full stop. Off-season is off-season for a reason. It can mean rain, cold, shorter daylight, or, in some regions, straight-up hurricane season. So before you book anything, you check the destination's seasonal weather and, if it's a tropical zone, the hurricane calendar. Going in the wrong season smart is genius. Going blind is how you end up stuck in a hotel room watching a storm for 4 days. Number 2. Things close. Some restaurants, ferries, mountain passes, and seasonal attractions shut down or run reduced hours off-peak, so the one thing you were dying to see might not even be open. Look up opening dates before you commit. A little research turns the risk into basically nothing. A couple more real ones. Number 3. Build in flexibility. Off-season weather can disrupt flights and ferries more than peak, so refundable fares and travel insurance matter more here than they do in July. That's general advice, not me selling you a specific product, but take it seriously. Number 4. The vibe can get too quiet for some people. If your whole trip is nightlife and buzzing beach club energy, deep off-season might feel like a ghost town. That's a feature for me, and a bug for you. So, know which one you are. And, number 5. That 60% figure is a best-case ceiling, not a rule. Sometimes you save huge, sometimes it's 20%, sometimes a random event spikes prices anyway. The only way to know is to actually pull up the prices for your specific dates. None of this kills the move, it just means you go in informed. So here's the actual method to find any destination's cheap sweet spot, and it takes about 10 minutes. Step 1. Pick your destination and look up its peak season, the busiest, most expensive months. Step 2. Target the shoulder, the 4 to 6 weeks right before or after that peak. That's usually where weather is still good, but prices have dropped. Step 3. Pull up a flexible price calendar on a flight search tool and literally look at a whole month at once, so the cheapest days jump out at you visually. Step 4. Cross-check the weather averages and the hurricane calendar for those exact dates so you're not walking into a storm. Step 5. Skim the attraction and restaurant opening dates so your must-dos are actually open. Do those 5 things, and you engineered a trip that costs a fraction of what your friends pay for the identical experience 1 month later. This move is basically built for a certain kind of traveler, and it might be you. If you're on a real budget and you want to travel more often for the same money, this is your unlock, because cheaper trips means more trips. If you're the person who genuinely hates crowds and gets stressed shuffling through a packed monument, off-season is going to feel like the place was reserved just for you. If you work remotely and have any flexibility on when you go, you have a superpower most people don't, so use it. And if you're a photographer or content person who wants shots without 1,000 strangers photobombing you, the wrong season is your entire aesthetic. The only people this does fit are folks locked into peak summer school breaks and pure party season chasers. Everyone else, you've been overpaying on purpose without knowing it. And here's the bigger idea hiding underneath this whole thing. Most of what we call the right time to do anything in travel isn't based on when it's actually best. It's based on when everyone else decided to go, school schedules, holidays, old habits, one guidebook everybody copied. The prices and the crowds don't follow quality. They follow the herd's calendar, which means the single most powerful money move in modern travel is almost embarrassingly simple. Stop asking when everyone goes, and start asking when it's cheapest and emptiest while still being great. That one flipped question turns the most expensive, crowded era of travel in history to your personal advantage, because the herd keeps paying peak prices to stand in peak lines, while you quietly get the same world for half the cost. The wrong season was never wrong, it was just unclaimed. Before you run off and book, let me save you from the classic off-season mistakes, because people mess this up in predictable ways. Mistake 1, going too deep. There is a difference between shoulder season, where weather is still great, and dead off-season, where half the town is boarded up. Aim for the edge of peak, not the abyss. Mistake 2, only checking the price and ignoring the weather. A cheap flight into a hurricane is not a deal. It's a trap. Always cross-reference the forecast for your exact dates. Mistake 3. Assuming everything's open. Confirm your must-see spots actually operate in that window before you build the whole trip around them. Mistake 4. Booking non-refundable everything. Off-season weather is less predictable, so a little flexibility is cheap insurance. Dodge those 4, and you get all of the upside with basically none of the pain. So think back to those 2 travelers from the start. Same city, same hotel, same flight, same dream trip. One paid full freight, sweated through the crowds and waited in every line. The other paid up to 60% less, walked into empty museums, got the softer light and the quiet plaza, and came home with more money still in the bank and better stories to tell. The gap between them was never luck or income or some secret connection. It was one question: when? The whole difference was refusing to book the calendar they were handed and sliding 1 month over instead. That's it. That's the entire hack. And now that you can see it, you honestly can't unsee it. You'll never look at peak season the same way again. If this just saved you a stack of money on your next trip, do me a favor and subscribe. Every week I break down the travel move the crowd sleeps on. And one more time, because it actually matters, prices and weather change constantly, so always pull up the current numbers and the seasonal forecast before you book anything. Now, if you like the idea of traveling differently than everyone else, the next one goes deeper than money because there's a set of places on Earth where people routinely live to 100, and travelers are starting to plan entire trips around visiting them. Some of the reasons are real, some are hyped, and I break down exactly which is which. That video is on your screen right now. Go watch it and I'll see you inside.